Hello, I'm Sister Kathleen O'Neill, and I'd like to speak today a little bit on opportunity during this time of pandemic, some specific things about some opportunities that we share. And the first one I'd like to speak about is a desire, I suppose I have myself, a desire for our world and our culture in this time. I'm not going to start by speaking just negatively about our culture. It's an easy thing to do, and it gets done from all sides of the political spectrum. If anything, I would say, this is the culture that has formed us and given us many good things as well. But nevertheless, having said that, we all know there are great weaknesses in this culture as in any. And one particular one that our culture suffers from more than many is lack of faith in God, lack of faith in the transcendence, and perhaps an excessive faith in human beings, in human nature, in how perfectible human nature is, in how much we may be able to control the world around us. Some of that is the result of wonderful things we've accomplished in the last few centuries. The great reduction in famine, the great rise in longevity and general health. Those are wonderful, wonderful accomplishments. But when there is plenty, when we're not experiencing our need, it's very easy to forget God. And you can see this in so much of our society. The need for God just isn't there. And that also means we're not sensing the deep needs we have for something greater than ourselves and greater than our world. That basic human desire, that basic human drive towards what's highest and best is kind of covered over with a layer of comfort, a layer of distractions, a layer of just banality, really. That's very easy to fall into and to become part of. So a hope that I would have, it's not that because in the pandemic, many people are more anxious, there's less certainty, there's more insecurity, but it's not that we would want people to come to faith in God. The saying, there are no atheists in a foxhole, right, yeah. Well, it's not about that. It's not about, gee, I'm at wit's end, let's grab onto anything. Okay, maybe it's God. No. It's about coming face to face with the truth that there is really a limit to human control. Personally, of course, and anyone who's had a cancer diagnosis or has a close family member or close friend who's had a serious illness hit them, one that perhaps is incurable, anyone like that will know that there's a lack of our control. And of course, we all know there might be some comet out there with planet Earth's name written on it that could head our way sometime, and that might be the end of that. So there certainly are ways in which, at least intellectually, we recognize lack of control. But this pandemic might be an opportunity for many to come to a deeper sense of what's it really all about? What is life really about? Is it just about the surface things? Is it just about pleasure? Is it just about the good life? Or is there more to it than that? Is there something that's deeper and more worthwhile? Then, for those of us who are blessed enough to be spending this pandemic with family or with community, I realize there's many people who, to some extent, are more isolated because of the pandemic. Not so much as in the early stages, perhaps, but even now there's some more isolation. But many people have the opposite experience of being closer to their loved ones than perhaps is customary. So for that, what are some opportunities for each of us in that? And one opportunity is the opportunity, obviously, to grow in love. And the pandemic has created anxiety on many levels for the human race, really. And we can look around and see where are some of the people I live with, some of the people I love, where are they hurting? What behaviors or what speeches or what attitudes am I seeing that might betoken some kind of hurt that someone is dealing with? Can I be sensitive to that? Can I not just be irritated by the fact that I'm living with somebody irritable, which is not easy, I know. I don't do it terribly well, but it can be a call in this time to say, wait, we need to cut one another a little more slack because there's stress that wasn't here before. So that's one thing we can do. We can take the opportunity to help lessen one another's anxiety levels. I don't mean we're just going to walk around all cheerful and isn't it a lovely day? No, it's not just about that. But we can, the biggest thing we can do to help the stress level around us is to have our own stress level come down. And that happens through prayer, through growing faith, through trust in God, all the ways that we can reinforce that, remind ourselves that we're in the hands of a loving God. Just bringing that to mind repeatedly can be helpful. I don't mean beating ourselves up with it or feeling bad if we're anxious, but just that way that we can grow in lack of anxiety ourselves and being a person of peace. It's infectious. And if we know somebody like that, we know somebody I know someone who gives me peace, or several someones who give me peace, and I can think that's it. That's what I like. That's what I'd like to do for others as well. And last thing I'd like to speak about is about the opportunity for ourselves. How can I grow in this time? And above all, what is God asking of me to do? What is God asking me to do? What is God inviting me, or who is God inviting me to be? When I'm through with this experience, have I been able to use it as a time to grow in faith? What are the opportunities for deepening my life of prayer in these days? Those are some of the things that may come our way if we give them time, if we have more time and we give our time to that. So I'd like to close again with that beautiful prayer from Romans. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that by the power of the Holy Spirit you may abound in hope.